one thing I've learned is that everything has a learning curve. Everything, down to the smallest things. I was dropping off my friend Julian because I brought him with me when I went to the roller rink to test out these things again after like 5 years. Anyway, when I was dropping him off, his friend pulled up next to us and was like trying to talk to Julian, and Julian is trying to figure out how to roll down my window. And in my truck, I have crank windows. They're manual, and it's dark. He didn't notice, you know. So he's like looking for the button. He's looking for a button. He's like looking on the dashboard. He's looking over at me. He's looking all on the side, on the door, like fucking up, everywhere. He's looking everywhere. And he finally looks at me. He goes, "Dude, roll down the window." And I'm like, look down, man. He's like, "What?" I'm like, look down. It's a crank. I got manual windows. Long story short, don't be upset when you go to do something you are not the best at it, or you don't figure it out right away. Because it might be a scenario where you gotta look down and be like, "Oh, I actually have to crank this thing." I mean, everything has a learning curve. Everybody, where you're like, "Wow, they're talented. Wow, that was cool. I don't know how they did that." Every freaking X Games trick you see, every single sports player that makes a crazy play, all of those things, they did not just they were not born that way. They did not just graduate high school and just walk straight to the NFL. Throughout the years, there was time and dedication and a learning curve involved. And everyone starts here, all the way till you figure out how to roll down the window. Because a lot of people go into things just expecting there to be a button. Like, "Oh, let's get this window rolled down right away." But no, sometimes there's a crank that you didn't know about, and you just gotta look down and find it, and then actually crank it. When I went back to the roller rink, even things that you've done before, the learning curve never stops. I actually started on rollerblades and then moved to ice, and then I revisited blades after 5 years. And if you saw my Instagram video, I tried to do a stop, and I slammed right into my tripod. Now, was I upset? Like, what? Was I upset and confused? Like, "Dillon, you've freaking done this before. This is your roots." I was like, no. Give yourself a break, Like, I haven't done this in 5 years. Of course, I'm not going to freaking nail it every time in my first 2 hours. Maybe give me 6 hours and Dillon's going to be back to normal. But do not get discouraged when you're practicing anything and it's not working out right away. Maybe it's something you really want to do and you feel like you're bad at it. You feel like, man, I keep practicing, but I feel like I'm stuck, I'm plateaued, I'm not getting any better, I'm stuck at the starting line. It feels like you're stuck at the starting line. It's like, what do you do? Well, first of all, give yourself a break. You probably have not spent enough time practicing what you are practicing. And another thing I want to talk about is, how are you practicing? If Dillon just skated in circles at the same speed, at the same path, he probably wouldn't be a better skater. I would probably just turn into one of those race cars where you have the little remote, but it's on a track. Or you might get this one a little better, like a mock-up locomotive train. I'm just gonna be going in circles, and that's it. No, I try to do different stuff. I try to learn new stops. I try to do cool things like spread eagle or surfing. Because first of all, if I just practice the same thing every day in the same way, I'd be bored. It probably wouldn't be fun. I told one of my coworkers this one time. He's real big into playing pool. And he was talking about going to Vegas. He's like, yeah, man, we just got to keep practicing. We got plenty of practice until before Vegas, though. And I'm like, that's good. But remember, practice does not make perfect. If anybody ever tells you that, tell them Dillon said they're incorrect. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanence. So if you are practicing something and you feel like you are stuck, you feel like you're stuck at the starting point, try to change the way you are practicing. Keep changing things until you're like, oh, this is a little better. You know, you really have to get outside your comfort zone. If you're practicing something, for example, I know how to juggle, but I can only juggle 3 balls because, well, I've only ever practiced juggling 3. Of course, I'm not going to be able to juggle 4. I haven't practiced, and if I tried to juggle 4 right now, I'm probably not going to be able to do it. You know, there's a learning curve always. Yeah, I know how to juggle 3, but if I want to learn how to juggle 4 or 5, then it's going to take exponentially longer. In juggling 3, I never thought I'd even be able to do that. You know, you see somebody juggle, you think it's really hard, but over COVID, I learned how to do it in like a couple months, you know? Yeah, like my first 2 weeks, I was like, dude, I don't know. And then like, I kind of just kept at it. And then I was like, okay, we're getting the hang of this. And next thing you know, Dillon's freaking juggling. Now, once again, like the blades, I haven't done it in a while, and I don't know if I could juggle right now, but there is a video of me on my Facebook where I'm juggling some sandbags on vacation. Not like sandbags, but like bean bags filled with sand. But long story short, do not get discouraged if you feel stuck. And if you feel stuck, then look at your situation objectively and say, okay, what have we not tried? What can we change? What works? What's not working? Kind of just zoom out. Look at all 5 digits. Be like, okay. This works. Okay, maybe this doesn't work. Haven't tried this. You know, zoom out. You can see the bigger picture, and you will actually see more details most of the time. But that's all I got for today. I'll be back.